Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 3:56 a.m. on this Saturday evening, going into Sunday morning, Mother's Day. It is 45 degrees outside, and it's raining. It's not raining super hard, but it's raining. And it's very cloudy. The clouds are interesting. They're like really, really low. Almost looks kind of like fog, you know, but not. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But anyway, how are you guys doing this evening? This afternoon, whenever you're watching it. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you're having an amazing Mother's Day. A magically amazing Mother's Day. I have to tell you, I was driving out of my neighborhood and, you know, I just got my headlight changed on my passenger side. That was a whole deal, you know, because I couldn't change it on my own with the help of my neighbor and Alex, even after watching all his YouTube videos. So I ended up taking it into the dealership. So I'm driving out of the neighborhood, and that side is like really bright. And this side I can still see that I have like a headlight, but I was like, it's not super strong. So I got out of my car, and the passenger side is super strong, and the driver's side, I can't tell if it's because that's a new bulb, and so it just looks duller in comparison. Like I can see right in front of me right now that I have like a good amount of light. But I got out and I looked at my light and I'm like, okay, so is this a full bulb? Is it a little bit dull? Like, do they go down like that? Are they just because they're two different bulbs? I was like, what is going on? Because I'm like, if this one's dying, I could have just, I think they're just two different bulbs is what happened. Which I don't understand why they would have done that. They don't look greatly different, they just look a little bit different. Like this one just looks a little bit stronger than the one on the driver's side. But anyway, I was like, I could have just gotten them changed both at the same time. I literally just got up about 20 minutes ago. I hadn't planned to sleep that long, which is always the case. And then when I got up, because it was so late, I thought to myself, you know what? I think I might just sleep straight through the night, but we're going to brunch with my mother-in-law tomorrow, and then I think I'm just gonna spend the day with Alex and or at home, like doing stuff around the house. If he might go do some stuff with his mom after brunch. So if he does, then I might just come home and relax around the house or something. So I was like, I'm gonna go vlog tonight. Plus, I think that even though you guys said that you don't really care when I vlog, most of you were so nice about it that you're like, oh, whenever you vlog is good. I think most people really enjoy more of a nighttime vlog. And honestly, I enjoy vlogging more at night. But I've also really liked, in the last couple weeks, going to sleep and getting like a full night's rest. So I like to kind of mix it up. But I got Chipotle for dinner tonight because Alex went out to dinner with some girlfriends. And I did a review at Chipotle of the cauliflower rice, which was like the base for my, I got a veggie bowl from there. And then I got queso and chips and this corn salsa and chips. And I ate that tonight. And I watched 2 episodes of the Work the World Tour on Wonder. I watched, so like each episode is a different queen. I've already watched, well, this was the last episode of the first season of the European tour. So the Work the World Tour is by this guy named Brandon Voss. He's like in a lot of the show, and he produces the show, and it's like 6 or 7 of like the most famous queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. So season 1 is a European tour. And they go to like 6 or 7 cities. And it's Valentina. Alyssa Edwards comes for like 1 or 2 shows. Detox, Latrice Royale, Kennedy Davenport, Violet Chachki, Aquaria, Sharon Needles. Am I forgetting anybody? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. So like each episode is a different queen, and it's like a half an hour, and it just follows them through like a leg of the tour, like part of the tour. And just like they talk about like their job and like what they do, and you get to see behind the scenes stuff. It's kind of fun. If you like RuPaul's Drag Race, it's really fun. Plus you get to see them more as people, you know, other than just like, you know, on a show. And you get to see like what really goes into all of that. It reminds me of years and years ago, I bought the DVD to the Cirque du Soleil. It was like the making of Zumanity. It was like a series they put out on like PBS or something. I love the Cirque du Soleil shows. Do you guys like those? If you have not seen a Cirque du Soleil show and you get a chance ever in your life, go see them. I mean, I love the word magical. I mean, they are truly magical. You feel like you're in another world. Now, I have my favorites. My all-time favorite, if I had to pick one show that I could just watch over and over and over again, would definitely be O. That's at the Bellagio. And I think partly because it's a water show. So there's diving in the water and stuff like that, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's unbelievable. And you know they built the Bellagio around the stage for O, the Cirque du Soleil show. When you go there, they like give you like there's like a little history and stuff of it. So they actually built the theater first and then the Bellagio around it. At least that's what we were told the first time I went. The first time I ever went to see it was with my ex, and we saw it like 2 years, or maybe the same year that it opened. I can't remember. And then Alex and I have seen it twice. And then together, Alex and I, our favorite show is Zumanity, which is the more sensual side of Cirque du Soleil. And it's in a really small theater. I think it's at the New York. And it's really cool. And they change it up over time. When I originally saw it when it opened as well. And I can't remember when I saw it for the very first time. I may have seen it with my ex too, but I feel like maybe Alex and I saw it for the very first time. I can't remember. No, it would have been with my ex, because it was a long time ago. When it first opened. We saw it like right as it opened. And the drag queen Joey Arias from New York City was the MC and the host of it, and was incredible. Was absolutely incredible. And then I saw it a couple years after that, and it was with a different MC and host. And when I watched that documentary, or some documentary, it had Joey and this other person on, and they were like really, really good friends, because it showed both of them like hanging out. And I think like they shared nights. Like one would do 2 nights and one would do the other night, or something, like the other 3 nights or something like that. And then, you know, like shows in Vegas have like black nights where they like don't, like blackout nights where they just don't. I think probably Broadway is the same way, where they don't have shows. And they're always different, like for every show. So like one show might be like Monday and Tuesday, and another show might be like Thursday and Friday, other than they're never Thursday and Fridays, because in Vegas, those were their big nights, you know. But anyway, so I loved Zumanity. And then I've seen, there's actually quite a few shows, Cirque shows I haven't seen. I haven't seen the Beatles Love show, and I haven't seen the Michael Jackson one. And I'd like to see the Beatles show. I have no desire to see the Michael Jackson one. The Beatles one is called Love. And then Alex and I went and saw the one that was like the very first show. So like a couple years ago, oh God, it's been a long time now. Alex and I went to Vegas one year, and I wanted to see all different kinds of shows. I wanted to see like the Follies, so we went and saw the Follies. which was horrible. Because I wanted to see like an old time Vegas show with like showgirls and everything, because I had never done that. And it was bad. I mean, they did like the sinking of the Titanic on stage, and it was bad. I mean, it was like an old Vegas show, but it just was bad. And we went and saw Divas Live, which doesn't exist anymore. That was the Frank Marino show, the drag show. I think it was at, I was gonna say the Tropicana, I think it's the Flamingo. And our friend that Alex went to college with, it was like one of Alex's best friends from college. He lives in Vegas. And he knew Frank Marino, and he knew like Derek Barry from the show, who has now since been on RuPaul's Drag Race, and some other people. So he took us to the show, and we had like front row seats. It was like a booth that you sit in. And then we got to meet them afterwards. Oh, Hot Chocolate, Larry Edwards, who has judged like every pageant in the world and has been around forever, and I like am in love with. Does an amazing Tina Turner. I was so excited. So our friend introduced us to Larry, who goes by Hot Chocolate, who was also in the show. And then we went to Piranha nightclub that night and got to hang out with all of them, which was really fun. Why can't I remember it's like one of the very first Cirque shows ever. It's where the clown pushes the ball around, and the two clowns are like on the house that's sinking in the water. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's not my favorite Cirque show. And our seats were in the very, very back row, because I got tickets at the very last minute, and they didn't really have anything left. Because I'll spend money for a Cirque show, because the closer you are, the better they are. Although I will say with the Cirque show, there really isn't any bad seats in the house, unless you're in the back row. We were literally in the back row with our, we were up against like the wall. Why can't I remember what that show is called? It's a famous Cirque show. It's my least favorite one I've ever seen. But the problem is that was like one of the first ones. And if you've then gone and seen like O and some of those shows, I feel like there's other shows that I've seen that I'm not thinking of. But when you see O and those shows, I just love shows, period. I just love them. We've seen both at the Spiegel World shows, Opium and Absinthe. Those are both really, really good. I think they just opened a third show. So Spiegel World is like their old-time vaudeville shows that they do. Absinthe is in a tent in front of Caesars, and Opium is in the Cosmopolitan. And like, it has its own theater. And then we went and saw, the last time we were there, was it the last time? We went and saw Le Rêve, which is like O. It's the Wind's version of O. It's like a water show. And it was cool, but it was more like Avatar in the water. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't as cool as O, but it was still very pretty. Why can't I think of what that one show is called? I'm gonna pull in here in a second and look, 'cause it's driving me crazy. I'm almost positive it starts with an M. But anyway, years ago I watched that documentary. If you like Cirque shows, I can't remember what the documentary is called. It's just like, the cover is just like the guy's face, like one of the dancers' faces. And he's got like a mask on. The music of the Cirque shows is incredible, and it's like, so I don't know if you know this, but like the language that they use in Cirque shows is actually like not a real language. I think they actually filed bankruptcy or something. I'm hoping that they're still staying open. But it's a combination of like French and Portuguese and Spanish. It's like a combination of all these different languages together. Or maybe that's just one show. I don't know, but maybe that's just O. I feel like it's several different. I heard that. I think that was on the show that I watched. But these people that work for Cirque du Soleil, they do not get paid very well. And they, I want to say that the show is like called like Maltese or something like that, but it's not called Maltese. I know that. They do not get paid very well. Like when I watched that show, I could not believe it. It's like literally like 4 of them share an apartment, like a small apartment on the outskirts of Las Vegas. And they train for like 10 hours a day. and then they work like 5 shows a week, you know, 5 shifts a week, 5 shows, but like everything that goes into like the costume fitting and the preparing and the makeup and the getting ready and the shows. And then they usually do 2 shows a day, you know, or they'll do like a 10, a 2, and then like an 8. So sometimes they're doing like 3 shows a day. And I couldn't believe when I found out how much they make. They make like something like $30,000 a year or something. And I was like, I can't believe that they make that little, you know, for all that goes into that. But anyway, yeah, the Work the World Tour kind of reminds me of that documentary that I watched. It's kind of the behind the scenes of what goes on with all of that. It's very cool. And so the last episode of the first season, I think it's the last episode, is The Crew. And I really was like kind of honestly not interested in watching that one. I was just kind of like, whatever. But then it was really, really interesting. Violet Chachki, she does... so if you don't know who Violet Chachki is, was one of the winners of RuPaul's Drag Race, and she's very much like Dita, what's her name? Dita Otis is not her name, is it? What's her name? Anyway, the one that does the, oh shoot, what's the word? I literally can't think tonight. I don't know what is wrong, but like the Gypsy Rosalie kind of stuff. You know, burlesque. She does like burlesque, and she does an aerial show, and so each of them have like a 10-minute. No, because somebody said that, like, I was watching it. I'm on the 2nd season now, and Asia O'Hara was talking about being halfway into somebody's show, and it was 10 minutes. So each of them have like a 20-minute spot where they like design their own show to put into the show. And part of Violet Chachki, the end of her show, is this aerial show that she does where she's like in this like hula hoop kind of thing, but it's like metal, and she like goes up and down and spins in it and hangs on it. It's very Cirque du Soleil. It's beautiful. And she has a guy that travels with them. He's like this older guy, and he's an aerial manager. And that's all he does. Like, that's what he got hired to go on the show. But I think he does other stuff now, is what he was saying. But he was hired just to do Violet Chachki, just travel, just to do her. And so while she's in the thing, they showed how they do it. It's really cool. While she's in the aerial like hula hoop thing, he's like on this ladder, and this guy is like older. He's like 65 or 70 doing this. He's like climbing up and down this ladder, and so when he goes up, she goes down, and when he goes down, she goes up. And at the very end, she like comes all the way down, and she goes all the way up into the air, and like that's the end of the show. And he said, I literally am jumping from like a 12-foot like radius at that point. Which is so funny, isn't it? But that was really interesting to see that. I love to watch stuff like that. Cirque du Soleil, Las Vegas. Let's see. Mystère. I wonder if they're on check availability. Well, they're on sale as of July. I was like, when do the shows open again? And well, there's one show available in June, so at least some shows are open in Vegas. I don't know about the rest of them, unless they're just sold out. But I can't imagine all the May shows were sold out for Cirque du Soleil. See, like here you can see their blackout times. Their blackout dates for Mystère are Wednesday and Thursday. Man, some of their lowest tickets on here are like $100. I don't know that I would. I mean, $100 is not expensive for a Cirque show, but I don't know that I would pay $100 to go see Mystère. If you're in Vegas, I would almost recommend, well, first of all, if you're turned off by anything, sensual whatsoever, don't go see Humanity. It's not the show for you. Also, if I'm trying to think of what else I would say about the Cirque shows. I feel like there's another show that I've seen that I'm not thinking of, but I can't think of what it would be. It doesn't matter. I would actually pay more to go see O than pay $100 to go see Mystere, which is a cheaper show. I just feel like it's, I don't know, I just don't feel like you're getting your money's worth. You're not getting the real experience. I just I didn't enjoy the show. There's not really a lot to understand about it. I mean, I just didn't. I don't know. So that's the Work the World tour. So I was watching that tonight, and I watched 2 episodes. I watched I'd started The Crew, and I finished that, but I had just started it. That was really interesting. So it went in and it showed like the tour directors, and it showed some of their assistants, and it was really sweet at the end. This one like guy that's like Shangela's assistant, Valentina, like put him into drag because he's like wanting to be a drag queen, and he like did a show in, I think it was Helsinki. I can't remember where they were, but anyway, like Stockholm, and he did like a show, and Valentina did a show, and that was kind of cool to see that at the end. And they talked to the dancers, and I mean, this is like a major production that they put on, and yeah, and that was that. And then I watched the Asia O'Hara one, which I had known of Asia O'Hara long before RuPaul's Drag Race, because she was, I think the pageant that she won was Miss American Goddess, and I think she was also a Miss Gay US of A, maybe. She's a national title holder, which they say on the show. She goes to a bar and does like a live show, and she, like, because they show like the after hours stuff too, of them like being on the bus and going to clubs and stuff. Shangela can party. And so she's introduced at some club as being a national title holder. I mean, I like Asia O'Hara, she's not one of my favorites on the show. I think she can dance her butt off, and I don't know that I've ever seen any of her like talent for pageants. So I don't think I've ever seen her compete in a pageant, actually. It's funny with some of these girls, like, if I see them in a pageant, because I used to watch a lot of drag pageants and go to a lot of drag pageants, if I see them in a drag pageant and I really like them, that's how, like, they're, like, I remember years ago, I saw Erica Norell, who is from Florida. I saw her in National Entertainer of the Year, which she didn't win, but she should have. Her entertainment, or her talent, was incredible. She did this like clip from some musical, and it was like, I'm getting married today. Do you guys know what that musical is? And she's fighting with like her mom and her dad over getting married, and she's not wanting to get married or whatever. It was fantastic. And I remember she came out for like National Entertainer is what Nina West won. Her whole, when they talk about coming with a package to win a pageant, Nina West came with a package. Her, like, I mean, everything that she did for the whole week was just unbelievable. Erica Andrews' package, you can kind of tell when they come, because like everything from their evening gown to their interview to there's like a presentation, and that's when they come out. And Nina West did this thing where she had this, it looked like a big dress, but it was actually people underneath her dress, and so she would go like that. You can see it online. If you look up Nina West presentation, EOI, on YouTube, you'll see it. And then all of a sudden, these people like started like stepping away. It looked like, I mean, it was magical. It was really cool. Of course, it was magical, because that's my word. But there's some people that I've absolutely just like fallen in love with watching in like pageants. Erica Norell is a Miss Continental. But Alyssa Edwards, I actually saw, where am I at on time? Alyssa Edwards, I actually saw from doing, I think, National Entertainer of the Year. And I was like, oh my God, who is this? I mean, she was, they call it like bucking and stuff like that, the dance that they do, you know? Plus she's from Texas, and so many like really great queens are from Texas. Like Whitney Page was from Texas. Oh my God, she was incredible. Erica Andrews. Why can't I think of anybody else? There's so many Texas queens. I mean, you think of Texas as being a big pageant state anyway, but it's a big like drag pageant state. Well, they have Miss Gay US of A and Miss Gay America, I think, are both in Texas. Our neighbors, Alex was talking to them, and they asked us if we like iced tea, and so he was like, do you like sweet tea? And I was like, yeah. So he was like, this is from our neighbors, so they gave it to us, like a package of like 6, so I put them in the fridge. Well, I grabbed one tonight, and it says it's black tea, which I don't know what I'm gonna think of this, because I like kind of more of a sweeter tea. But I do love iced tea every once in a while, so I'm gonna smell it first. I'm gonna smell it and I'll tell you if it'll be sweet or not. But it smells sweet. Oh, that's sweet. That's good. Oh, I really like this. What is this brand? Oh, it says sweet tea on the side. Peter's so silly. I can't see what it's called. Tea Spinner. Never heard of it. These are my cheapy reading glasses that I keep in my car. So then, after I ate, I was waiting for my vlog to go up. My vlog was so weird today. It like, it took forever to upload. I mean, literally like hours, you guys. And so it was uploading, and then it got stuck at like, and this happens sometimes not just with my vlog, but with any video uploading. It happens to a lot of people. It got stuck at like 95% processing. So you upload it and then you process it, and now they do this check thing. So it got stuck. Well, sometimes like if you upload YouTube videos, here I'll tell you my trick that I've learned, okay? You can Google how to fix it. Those videos are stupid, okay? They'll tell you like, oh, this is how you fix it to get it off of like when it's stuck on processing. Now, if it's stuck at 0 processing, I would just re-upload the video, because when it's stuck at 0 processing for me, it's just, there's something that's happened, like, dare I say it, glitch, but there's something that has like happened to the uploading of the video, and so I just re-upload the whole video. But let me tell you, the trick, when it's stuck at 95% processing or 90% processing, start uploading the video again. Like, don't go in and delete. You're uploading, leave it continuing to upload. Go in and start uploading it again, and on like, you know, another like tab. And I'm telling you, immediately it'll go through the processing. It happens to me every single time. So mine got stuck, and so finally I went over there and I did that. And then it was going through this checking thing. And so finally it was done. So I got my vlog up, and then I called Tanya. Tanya and I we hadn't talked in like 2 days. And so we were like catching up and stuff. That water tastes so good. This was the cup that was sent to me. Isn't it so pretty? I don't know where this is from. Texas. Texas! Everything's bigger in Texas. But Tanya and I hadn't talked in like 2 days. And so I was talking to her today. We've been like calling each other back and forth, trying to get a hold of each other. We hadn't talked since, well, we had texted, but we hadn't talked since Tuesday. No, it was, yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then today. So we hadn't talked in like 3 days. Well, so Tanya and her husband, Eric, they're best friends that are a couple that they've been friends with for like 30, 40 years. He had passed, I've shared the story on here before. He had passed from a brain tumor. And I think it was, oh, it couldn't have been 10 years. She said it was the anniversary. I think it was 5 years. And so this weekend was the anniversary of his passing. And so Tanya and her husband, it stopped. Anyway, I was just saying that it was the anniversary of their friend's passing. And I don't know how many years. I think like 5, maybe. I think like 5. And so Tanya and that couple, and then another couple that lives out of town now, they like all grew up, like all their kids grew up in the same neighborhood. Well, until Tanya, until she moved over here. I think Nick was probably like, I don't remember how old he was when they moved over there, 5 or 6. So that was like in that neighborhood, but they still continue to like hang out and be friends. So they used to travel every year together and get a house in Florida and stuff. So that other couple came into town, and they've been doing stuff like the last couple nights. They like had a bonfire one night. Tonight they had a bonfire, and out at the other couple's house of the guy that passed away. And then last night they went out to dinner. So Tanya was just telling me about all of that, which was really nice that they were doing that to kind of commemorate him and his passing, you know. So yeah. And then I was asking her what she was doing for Mother's Day tomorrow, and it's kind of weird. Like, I was sitting there, I don't know what happened tonight. I was like sitting there and I was watching that Work the World Tour. I keep on calling it World of Wonder Tour. I probably did. But it's called the Work the World Tour. But anyway, I was sitting there tonight, and I have to honestly say, like, this doesn't happen very often to me anymore. It really doesn't. Like, I know I talk about my mom and I share stories of my mom, and I always will. She was my mom, and she was a big part of my life. And you know, when I think about all the prominent people that played a big part in my life, my mom was definitely one of those people. And I don't care if I live to be 110, she always will have been a big part of my life, you know? But, like, I don't get super sad anymore about, like, her being gone. Like, grief is such a weird thing, you know? Like, it kind of, like, I would say, like, for the first 5 or 6 years, it kind of just hits you out of the blue. Like, you never know when it's gonna really come, right? And then, and like I've talked about on here before, for the first couple of years, I was just completely numb, you know? I wasn't going to meetings, I wasn't dealing with my emotions, I had no emotional sobriety, I had no spiritual foundation. I was really pretty angry at God for taking my mom. Like, I mean, I had conversations in my head to God, like, how dare you? Like, you know, this was the closest person in my entire, you took the person that was the closest to me in my life. You know, like, I had some kind of, like I said, it wasn't bargaining, like I was talking about bargaining with grief. It wasn't bargaining conversations, it was more just, like, anger. Like, I definitely do relate to anger with grief. But it was kind of, like, misdirected anger. I don't know how to explain it. And I wouldn't say that lasted forever. I just didn't feel like, I don't really know who to be angry at, to be honest with you. And I wasn't, like, really mad at God. I just was kind of like, I didn't get it. Like, I don't know. It just seemed so unfair, you know? And I remember at that time, our friend that now lives in Dallas, that we went and visited, we were out there for the wedding, but we hung out with him too. His mom, so my mom passed in May. She passed this week. It'll be 13 years this week. And so that was in May. And then Alex and I started dating in August. And the first week that I started dating Alex, I met his friend. and we started hanging out, and his mom had just passed like 2 weeks before of breast cancer. And I remember it was kind of this thing that we kind of like bonded, and I kind of in a weird way kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but like it felt mentoring a little bit because I had gone through that just recently and was older. And so he and I would talk a lot about it. We would talk a lot about his mom passing, and she, I remember, when I asked him, she was 36. Well, I can't remember how old he was at the time, but he was younger. And that was like, you know, to find some gratitude, I was like, and I was, you know, what is that? Oh my God. Tanya's favorite Italian place closed. Oh my God. Brick's Pizza in Fishers. We love that. They had such great Alfredo there. Or this semi-Alfredo stuff that they had that was so good. But anyway, they put it on like angel hair pasta. I don't know why I always loved it from there. Maybe it was pesto. I can't remember. But anyway, and Tanya would always get their pizzas. Although I remember one time, they had like flatbread pizzas. This one time she took a pizza home. She goes, this is really salty. I don't know. Do you ever remember like the weirdest stuff from people? But anyway, I remember thinking to myself after like meeting him and hanging out with him, because he was like one of Alex's like 2 closest friends, well, other than Sarah, but 2 closest guy friends when we first met. And I remember like feeling to myself like, it's really sad what happened, but I got like 20 more years with my mom, you know, like, and for me to say how unfair it is, like that was really like, you know, if you want to look at it, first of all, there is no such thing as fair. Okay, we wouldn't want the world to be fair. We just wouldn't. I used to work with this woman, and she would always say, you wouldn't want the world to be fair, because, you know, if the world was fair, we could all be like starving and, you know, so, and I'm like, well, there's truth in that. I mean, she didn't say it to me, but like as a teaching experience, she would say that. And somebody is texting me, 4:35 in the morning. Who could it possibly be? But that helped a little bit, because I can remember thinking, man, I mean, he's young. And this poor guy got so much less time with his mom than I did, you know? So who am I to sit there and say how unfair it is? And there's a lot of people that got a lot less time than I did with my mom, you know? So let's cherish the time that I did have with my mom. Let's be grateful for that time. And that kind of switched my whole thinking about it a little bit. But anyway, what I was saying was that grief is weird because, let me see who's texting me. Stupid glasses. These junky reading, now I feel like my dad with these, he's got reading glasses in every room. Is so funny. But he has those kind that are like the skinny ones, you know? He has them literally in every room. That's so funny. But anyway, there's always, like, if you go to my dad's house, like where he sits, like he has this chair in the basement. They have this like ginormous TV in the basement. They wanted to watch something, I can't remember what it was, one day. And so my dad went to go replace, this is so my dad. So my dad went to go replace some TV. Their TV broke. I can't remember what they were gonna watch. They're tennis people, so it was probably something to do with tennis, like Wimbledon or something. So he went to Best Buy to replace this TV, and they didn't have the size he wanted. And this guy kept on like trying to sell him this like ginormous size TV. And my dad was like so frustrated with it. He just was like, fine, as long as you can have it out there in an hour. So they have this like ginormous TV in their basement, right? Which my dad loves. And he has like a chair and an ottoman. And he always has like all of his newspapers. Like my dad every day reads like the New York Times, the Washington Post, or whatever it is, the Wall Street Journal, I don't know, whatever. All the smart people newspapers, my dad reads all those, you know, has all that stuff, New Yorker, everything lined out. whatever book he's reading, he's always reading, and has always with a highlighter too. Isn't that so funny? My dad reads with a highlighter, like he doesn't read any fiction. My dad only reads like nonfiction. And he always reads about the most obscure stuff too, like things that you would like never like you would never in a million years think about. Like he'll go to the bookstore, and it'll be like some book that's just like sitting out there that somebody recommends, and then like whatever the topic is, he'll read like 5 books on that topic. And my dad has more information about stuff that you would never. I don't know. And then there's a lot of stuff that my dad is like super educated on. So anyway, but that's interesting. Alex and my dad always have these like really in-depth conversations, and me and my stepmom are talking about, you know, Jackie Collins books or something. But if you go to my dad's house, in like every room where he watches, so he has like a chair in the bedroom too. They have like next to their bed, they have like 2 chairs with ottomans, you know, in front of the TV. And so, because they have like a little sitting area. So next to that TV, and then my dad in the kitchen has a chair and an ottoman next to the couch, with like where he watches TV in the kitchen if he's just like sitting there. They have like a little sitting area in the kitchen too. It's really cute. They have like a little brick fireplace and stuff. And my dad's house is so cool. I would love to like do a video like showing my dad's house, but I don't think he would be real down for that. But anyway, so they have fireplaces all through the house, and just it's not like one of those houses where like people don't like live in it, like they live in their house, you know what I mean? Like they like use all the spaces and stuff. So but like everywhere that my dad has a space is a pair of reading glasses and pretzels. He loves those long sticks of pretzels. Do you know what I'm talking about? And so he has this like glass, like it's specifically for these pretzels. I don't know who got it for him, but it's a glass jar in the kitchen with a lid on it, and it looks like it's a cookie jar, but it's for these pretzels. And so he has like, it's always filled. I can see the bag. It's like a brown bag. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those tall pretzels. He always gets those pretzels, and then he likes jalapeno cheese, like pepper jack cheese. And so like if you go to his house, my dad, and he also likes to dip his pretzels in mustard. So if you go to my dad's house, he'll be like, do you want some pretzels and cheese? Well, he also has like the little pretzels, but he'll be like, do you want some pretzels and cheese? It's really cute. But anyway, he always has those pretzels next to his chair. That's one of the things I remember. Reading glasses, well, that's one of the things I think of when I think of my dad. Reading glasses and pretzels. My dad has a very distinct smell about him, and I think it's because he's worn like the same cologne for like 30 years, which it's so weird because my dad doesn't really smell like this cologne, but I don't know, my dad has for like 30 years worn that, he wears, what's it called? It's like this Jovan Musk. I don't even really personally like it. If I smell it out of the bottle, I don't like it. But my dad, like, it smells really good on him. And it just reminds me of home, you know? And then my dad always wears these fry boots from fall through winter. He always wears these square toe fry boots that he's had. I mean, I bet my dad has had these pair of boots since I was like 10 years old, if not younger. And he always just has like on a t-shirt and jeans. You'd think my dad, if you met my dad, you'd probably think he was like a rancher or something like that. Well, it is tall. He's real tall. My stepmom's really tall too. I think she's 5'11". She's taller than me. Which is so funny because my mom was 5 foot. But anyway, I was saying about grief that, you know, it's this interesting thing because it's like, you kind of go in and out of it, in and out of it, in and out of it, right? But like, very rarely anymore, and I have to say, like, I'm somebody that, the more I talk about something, the more cathartic it is for me to tell stories, to get things out and whatever. And this vlog, honest to God, I think it really saved my life. I think it really started, I was looking tonight because I was like, when I was uploading my video, I was like looking at what year it was, because I have a playlist by the years. So 2017 was the first year that I started this. So this is my 5th year of doing it. So when I finish this year, I'll have done 5 complete years of vlogging every day, with the exception of the week that I didn't vlog when PP passed away. Which is crazy to me. Although I thought it was 6. So, but you know, like that first year or two, like I talked so much about my mom. I cried so much about my mom, you know, and I still will from time to time, maybe even tonight. But back then, it seemed like the tears came really easily. Like I could tell a story or whatever, and it was weird. Like I was talking to my cousin and she was saying that she has been really missing her mom lately and she thinks she's really grieving her mom, and it's at about 5 years. And I said, you know, there's no time on it. Like for me, it didn't really, I don't think it really settled in until I came back into the rooms of recovery and I started being like talking about it and stuff, right? And it was hard, but I did. And I don't know. But the last couple years, I would say like the last 2 years specifically, I just haven't felt it as deeply. Like I really, honestly, especially specifically in the last year, when it comes up, where I talk to close friends and family about it, I'm like, it's been 13 years, you know, it's been a long time. She's been gone for a long time. I miss her, but it doesn't have the same. I think the thing is, there was a period where I think I was very close to getting stuck and grieving and not getting out of it, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I think there was a period where I was like, I really compared everything to the amount of years that my mom lived. And thinking to myself, I can remember on my 44th birthday, thinking I only have 20 more summers because my mom passed away at 64. I mean, like, that is no way to live. That's no way to think. You know, you just can't. And, but I remember thinking that way. And I think it like set this like time clock in my head. I've talked a lot about that on here before, you know, that because my mom passed so young, that I thought, okay, well, now I see everything in a different, like, if you want to do things, I mean, in a way, it was good too, because it was like, if you want to do things, you better get them accomplished now, kind of deal, you know what I mean? So, that was good. But I started seeing everything from kind of this pessimistic point. This was like when I was real negative, you know, pessimistic point of view of, well, I'm not going to be here for very long, or, you know, whatever. And it was always from this point of sadness, like missing my mom. And I don't know what changed in the last 2 years, but there was a point when I just was like, first of all, she wouldn't want this. I mean, I know that for a fact. My mother would look at me and she would, like, if she was sitting here and we had a conversation, she would say, I do not want you stuck and grieving. You need to go live a life. You know, my mother passed away. I went and lived a life. You need to live a life. This is your opportunity to have an amazing life. I do not want you sitting in grief, crying your eyes out every day over me. You should be upset about it. So, I know that. And I have, right? And I think there's a time and a place for being sad. I think as you grieve over time, then it like hits you it starts hitting you in waves. I'd say about 4 or 5 years. And then after that, it kind of like, you don't ever know when it's gonna hit you, you know? And I don't think you ever stop feeling it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it gets to be a point where it's kind of like this. You know the childhood home that you grew up in? That maybe your parents and everybody moved from? it's like you have fond memories of that, right? But it gets to a point where, like, you don't think about it very often, right? Like, you don't live in that state anymore. You don't drive by that street. You don't think about that house very often. Unless, like, maybe, like, your kids bring up something to do. Like, well, Mom, like, or Dad, you know, where did you live when you were growing up? And then all of a sudden it brings it back. Or if, like, maybe your mom or your sister or, you know, a brother or somebody brings up, do you remember when we were living in that house? Or do you remember that old house that we, you know? Then it comes up and you have those feelings again. That's kind of how it is. Like, as you get older, like, with the grieving, or not older, but, like, after you've gone through time, you know? Like, it's always gonna be there, like, the memories, and I think a little bit the pain is always gonna be there, but I think you start looking at it in a different way. So, I don't know what was happening tonight. I don't know if it's specifically, I feel like this year more than any year. You guys hear the rain, it's so pretty. It's like a little, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lake over there. It's like falling on the lake. It's so pretty. I don't know if it's because this year more than other years, I feel like every person I have talked to this week has been like, Mother's Day, Mother's Day, Mother's Day, Mother's Day, what are we doing for Mother's Day, Mother's Day, Mother's Day, what are you doing for Mother's Day, Mother's Day, Mother's Day. I just feel like it has been nonstop, and, you know, and I know this is going to sound strange, like, what do the two have in common? I don't know. But my BookTube anniversary is on Tuesday. It's going to be 5 years. And then my mom passed this week as well. So, it's like, she passed on the 14th. So, what is that? Tuesday. So, wait. So, Friday. And I don't know why those two events have anything to do with each other, because they don't. But I just, with that, and everybody just talking about Mother's Day nonstop. And I think because last year, nobody really did anything for Mother's Day because of COVID. And now this year, there's a lot more people that are doing something for COVID. I mean, not everybody I know, but a lot more than that. Nobody did anything last year. So, a lot of, like, the people that I know are, like, planning things to do for tomorrow, although Tanya said tonight, she was like, said something about a barbecue or something. She's like, but I think it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. Well, it's pouring down rain. I said, I didn't think it was supposed to rain. It's pouring down rain right now. Where is the battery at? It's on the halfway mark. Okay. So I was sitting there tonight. It was the weirdest thing. Well, when I came into the condo, this happens very, 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 very rarely. Speaking of smells, are you somebody that picks up on smells? Like, my aunt and uncle, like, their home had a very specific smell. Every home they lived in that they moved to, it smelled like this potpourri that my aunt used. That's all I can explain it. I don't know. It smelled like this potpourri. And then my mom, her best friend, actually, their house had a very distinct smell too. Like, and all of these were like good, positive smells. But my mom's condo had a very distinct smell to it, and it was like a mix of like the perfume that she wore, and then like this potpourri that she had in her house. And very rarely does this happen, but I walked into the house today and I smelled it. Just for like a second. And it was kind of offsetting. You know, whether you believe that was my mom, or it was just lingering smell in the house, or I don't know, like, you know, sensory memories, or it could be any of those things. But it kind of caught me off guard. And then tonight I was sitting there, and I didn't start crying or anything, and I didn't like get real upset about it. I just really missed my mom. Like, in a way that, like, I really haven't missed my mom, like, in a really long time. Because I had said to Alex earlier, because, you know, he was like, you know, well, we can go to brunch. And his mom's like wanting to get a bunch of plants for her yard and stuff. And he bought her 3 today, which was really nice. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. Why don't you and your mom spend some time together, just the 2 of you tomorrow, you know? And like after dinner and lunch, unless like Carlos and Liliana and them are, you know, stuff. But I think they're also doing stuff for Liliana. So I said, you know, why don't you just spend time with your mom and your grandma and whatever? And he was like, well, you can come too. And I mean, sometimes I think it's nice, you know, for him just to spend time with his mom. I love spending time just with my mom alone, you know? And I said, well, I can. I said, I can come, but, you know, maybe I'll leave a little early so that you and your mom can hang out. Just, you know, have some although he just went over there a couple nights ago. But, so he was like, okay. So I was sitting there tonight, and I was like, I just got real sad. I was like, I just miss just coming over here and having a cup of coffee and talking to my mom. You know, and just like, I just miss talking to my mom. And I feel like I've seen lately, like, people say stuff that about, I don't know, maybe it's just Mother's Day and people are saying stuff about Mother's Day, but somebody said something about online, like, until you lose, like, a parent, you don't truly know, like, what, like, it said something, it didn't say the word unconditional love, but it was something like that. Like, you don't really know what unconditional love is until you know a parent, and that's so true. Like, you know, if you have a good relationship with your parents, because I know there's a lot of people that don't, but parent figure, you know, aunt, mother, grandparent, uncle, you know, grandparent, whatever, family friend. I think I didn't really realize. Oh no, the thing said it's one less person that loves you unconditionally or something like that when they're gone. You know, and I've known that for a long time. I've said that for a long time. But it's not like I don't consciously think about it on a regular basis because, well, I will say this. In practicing gratitude, you know, it's like I have such amazing women in my life. You know, I mean, my best friend, I mean, well, Valerie, my friend, well, Tanya, obviously, is my best friend. I mean, she's like a sister to me. She's an older sister that I never had, you know? And Liliana is like an older sister. Well, she's younger than me. Liliana is like a younger sister that, you know, I've never had. And my sister-in-law. And, you know, I was talking to Valerie today. And Valerie said something jokingly about, like, well, I can, you know, be your mom tomorrow or something. And I said, yeah, except for Valerie, we're like 10 years apart, you know. She started laughing. But no, I do have so many mother-sister figures in my life. I feel so blessed, you know. And my stepmom and my, you know, and then when my aunt was alive, I had my aunt and my cousin Caroline, you know. It's like I've had so many amazing female figures in my life. I've had a lot of moms, I guess is what I'm saying. But I really only had one mom, you know? I know that we can't know this, but I almost wish, like, I had known, like, a year before. Like, I mean, who would really want to know this, right? That it's like, I wish I had known, like, a year before, like, this is going to be the last year you have with your mom. I don't really know what I would have done differently. I mean, we spent so much time together and really had great moments and stuff, but, like, I think I just would have paid attention more to the small things, you know? I remember my mom used to always take my hand in her hand and she'd just, like, look at my hand and stuff, you know? And then, like, she always gave me the most amazing hugs. I just would have paid attention more. Not to my mom, but just to the moments, I think. I would have paid attention more to all the moments. And I guess that's a good takeaway, you know, just from all of it. A good lesson in life is just paying attention more in life, you know, to the moments, to all of them, and not rushing through things, and enjoying each moment, and being present, and I feel like I have done that, you know. It stopped. I can't believe I'm at an hour already talking, but I'm gonna have to end this because I don't want to change the battery, and I want to listen to my audiobook for a little bit. Oh my god. But it's 5 o'clock already. 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I think overall the lesson to be learned for me is that the trick is in being present and appreciating each moment more, and allowing people in, reaching out first. That's a big one for me. You know, like tomorrow, for me to sit there and, like, you know, call my stepmom and call Caroline and Tanya, my sponsor, and reach out to people and just let them know how much they mean to me on Mother's Day, you know? There are lessons all around, aren't there? We are open to learning them. I will say this, it's also made me more present with other people. My dad and my stepmom and Caroline and Alex, especially Alex and the dogs. And you know, it's funny because I lay in bed and I notice just the smallest things about the dog, you know. And I did with Pee-Pee too. But I think when, you know, when Pee-Pee got sick, it like really changed everything for me. Like, and like just noticing the smallest things, allowing him to, like, you know, be out in the yard just a little bit more. And like I noticed just like the smallest things with like Boo Radley. Like I'll put my hand, you know, on his, like, his chest, like he breathes real deep when he sleeps, you know. He crosses his paws when he sleeps. Tucker sleeps on his back. You know, just the smallest little things. It's more about paying attention to the world around me, you know? So, anyway, happy Mother's Day. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Mother's Day if you celebrate Mother's Day. If you don't, then F it, do something special for yourself. Go get yourself some ice cream. And if I had to recommend some ice cream, I would definitely recommend my new favorite, forever my favorite ice, oh, I might get some ice cream tomorrow. My favorite ice cream was Ben & Jerry's Chubby Hubby because it was peanut butter covered chocolate pretzels or something like that. Oh my god, it was peanut butter and it was chocolate and it was pretzels and it was delicious. That was my favorite ice cream forever. But I have to tell you, my new favorite ice cream is Netflixed and chilled. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I love it. Have you guys ever had it? I'm like craving like the weirdest thing right now. I'm like craving just like that spiral, what do we call that? I don't know, that spiral pasta, but just with like salt on it, like salt and butter, and then like Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Why am I craving that? That's the weirdest thing. Oh my god, I cannot believe I did not tell you guys this. So I saw the ad for this on Twitter today, and then I went and looked at the trailer on Hulu, and then I texted Mel immediately. I hope the battery doesn't start dying while I'm telling this. Have you guys seen, has anybody seen the show or the trailer for the new show? It just came out in April on Hulu, and it's called Sasquatch. you know, which is the big man, which is Bigfoot. Have you guys ever seen this? Okay. So it's a documentary series. And I just said to Mel on the phone yesterday, I said, I need a new true crime documentary series to watch. Because I need a new show to get into. Like, Them is good and everything, but, and what was the other one I was talking about earlier that I said, Cruel Summer? But, like, I want a new true crime documentary to get into. I said that to her just yesterday. It might have even been today earlier I said it to her. So I go to watch this trailer thinking this is going to be so stupid. Now, I will tell you, Bigfoot is a conspiracy theory that I listen to and I totally believe in. They talk about it on Coast to Coast AM radio, you know. But welcome to Coast to Coast AM. This is the wild card line. What's your story, man? But I'm not going to do that tonight. Well, hi, this is Virginia from Oklahoma City. Well, hi, Virginia. What do you have going on tonight? Anyway, I love Coast to Coast AM. But they talk about Bigfoot every once in a while, Sasquatch. And I believe in it. I totally do believe in Bigfoot. But it's not one of the most interesting conspiracy theories to me, I have to tell you. So, I go to watch this trailer, because it said murder and drugs, conspiracy, and I was like, what is all of this about? Okay, the camera is going out. I was like, what is all this about? So I go over and I watch this trailer. You guys, this documentary looks so good. Okay, it's about a marijuana farm in upstate California, I think. What is this car doing? This car behind me is like trying to get around me. I'm like, dude, seriously? Like, I'm getting ready to pull into this parking lot and pull around. So what are you doing? Anyway. I'm gonna drive through this parking lot for a second. See, the red pickup truck is there. And it's real early. And there's like 2 cars here. And that medical office is open. That has to be what it is. I wonder what time that medical office opens on Saturdays. Maybe he even works there, who knows? That could be it. Oh my god, the battery is about to die. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to change the battery. Go watch Sasquatch on Hulu. I haven't started it yet, but Mel said she was going to watch the whole thing tonight. It's about all these murders that are taking place upstate Northern California on this marijuana farm, and it's supposedly related to Sasquatch or Bigfoot, which they say, but then they also think it might be these like drug dealers that are killing people up there, and it's been going on since the 60s. And they're like talking about, they're like, yeah, this one guy says it's a bunch of hippies listening to Grateful Dead music, but they're carrying like the machine guns and stuff. What? No, Tanya, no. So anyway, I want to watch that. Anyway, so go watch it and let me know what you think. And if you have other true crime documentaries to recommend to me, please, because I could use some. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off here now. I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I hope you are having a magically amazing Mother's Day. I love all of you out there, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. Glamour shots, glamour shots, glamour shots, glamour shots. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!